Welcome back to another episode of the Black Cinema Experience
Podcast.
I'm your girl, JB.
And I am Cameron.
And this week we have a very exciting Halloween themed thriller for you. Except it's not much of a thriller. It's very PG. We watched The Haunted Mansion, the newest version with Lakeith Stanfield featuring Rosario Dawson, Tiffany Haddish, Danny DeVito,
Chase Dillon,
Owen Wilson,
Jamie Lee Curtis.
That's a lot.
It starts at Winona Ryder.
Oh yeah. I should mention. And it was a really great movie to put you into the Halloween spirit. I would say definitely approved for those who have kids. Nothing rated R, no sexual scenes, nudity, or violence. Well, unless you count ghost stuff as violence.
I mean, you could, but I feel like it's tolerable.
Cameron, what was your favorite part about this movie?
Well, I thought it was a great movie. I think it's a solid Disney film. My favorite part, my favorite character is Danny DeVito, is Bruce's character.
Okay.
The angry old man. And the funny thing is like, I feel like one of the questions I feel like a lot of people might ask is why this movie is not necessarily a black movie.
Okay.
But I think I loved like that it incorporated black people very well into like a, I don't want to say non-traditional role, but I feel like it was just like a nice movie. Like I wasn't necessarily hung up on race, which is rare.
Right.
For a Disney movie, at least, like it's usually like they make it like targeted as like this is a Mexican movie or this is a
Yeah, I mean Disney, they did a great job on this. This was centering a black family. Essentially, we had Dominican Rosario Dawson because she mentioned abuelita in the chancla, so I said okay, so she's supposed to be some type of Spanish, making this baby some type of biracial product. But yeah, they had all different types of people in this film. One thing that I want to say about this movie is it's truly an authentic Disney piece.
Yes.
And I mean, I don't know about you and how you identify Disney movies, but if a parent dies, it is a Disney film.
Disney movie. Yes.
And although this may be a haunted themed film, officially when I realized, we got dead people in here and we're dealing with grief and loss, it's Disney. There's so many questions I have about why Disney does that. Do you have any theories?
Well, I mean, there are a couple, but my main theory is I feel like it's usually hard to explain grief or like, lost two children. So it's like putting them in those scenarios because unfortunately a lot of children do experience grief or loss. So I think it gives the kids or younger people a way to see, like to look at it in not such a traumatic way. Except for Lion King, but that's a whole nother story. But usually everything is like it's tragic, but it's like pretty bearable. To get you to get the emotion, but not like have you sulking and like.
Lion King is the last of a dying breed because I mean they really were savage.
Yeah.
I mean the dying parent was like murder in Lion King. That was crazy.
So, but seeing it like I feel like they do a good job of putting it in a way a child can understand. Which is why I feel like they do it. Or they could just be like, masochists, but we don't know.
It's very unsure. The verdict is still out on if Disney just likes to kill people off in movies. I mean, because if you think about any Disney movie you've ever seen in life, from Ice Age to Chicken Little to Pocahontas to Lilo and Stitch. I mean, the list is so long. They're all orphan children. I mean, Cinderella is an orphan. So apparently Disney likes orphan stories. I need to make a note of that so I can write a story of an orphan and get it to Disney ASAP. But honestly,
seriously,
they love to be dealing with grief. But I agree. I would say that theory is pretty strong. That's some sound logic. I think that parents have a hard time teaching their children about grief. I think Disney knows this, and maybe that's why they incorporate it in everything, because they know that people who are hurting will hurt other people, and they're basically dealing with impressionable children. So they must make something that's going to, help shape the world in the future little minds,
But they always end like on a good way to make you feel better because it's supposed to be the happiest. Well, Disneyland is supposed to be the happiest place on earth.
Yeah.
And they always show a way like how you can push through the grief or you overcome your grief or that situation to come out on top. So I do appreciate that, and I do appreciate seeing that with a black family. So that makes me happy.
Yeah, I mean, the Haunted Mansion, it really did a great job. I mean, they chose Lakeith Stanfield, and let's just be real, black ladies, we do like to see him cry. We feel his emotions. When I see him get all, intimate on screen, I'm like, oh, Keithy, let me hold you, you dreamy little stick figure. I'm so in love with Lakeith and his work and his performances. He does such a great job. But they really did chose a great. I'm really happy to see Black men embracing emotions, and they definitely show us a lot of emotional moments, a lot of kind of mentorship type moments between Lakeith and the little boy Travis, right? And I really appreciated that. I appreciate seeing them be emotional and be transparent, and it's very PG. Did I say that already? This movie's very PG, so like not too many thrills, adults. But I mean, I guess again, if you have kids, this is perfect film for kids to give them that Halloween vibe without having to deal with them having nightmares. Exactly. I'd imagine scared. Because I'm not a parent.
Me either, but I do know kids get scared, so I will say that. But it's also a good way. Like I know it's so different from what we've done in the past by it being so PG.
Yeah,
but I feel like
can you tell I'm annoyed? I don't like PG things.
I mean, I've actually started watching more and more children's movies, which is weird. I know, but I just feel like I don't know, like they usually have like more of a lighter air to them, so it is like just usually like an easy watch, so that you can just like really just go away feeling like that was nice, or feeling good.
Yeah. Kids movies creating false sense of reality every day for small children and some adults.
but I feel like that's good to see, like, because especially when we talk about the struggles of being Black, it's good to see like we said, good Black happy endings, and just not have to think about not leaving the movie stressed. Because sometimes I see movies and I'm just like, that stressed me out. Like I can't deal with it. So like to see like a Disney movie and it's going to end nicely. It's like
there is a certain reassurance in knowing that the worst thing that's going to happen is that the main character is going to lose their parent, and that it's only going to be a story about their uphill battle to success. So yes. Shout out to Disney for giving us whole, well-rounded, developed stories regarding orphans. For our whole life.
Man, I think the actors that get to be in it get a pretty check too. So like seeing these Black people, when you get the Disney money, it's a different level.
Disney money, they're out here. They're buying America. Exactly. Trying to buy it back from Amazon guys.
So they getting a piece of the pie. So I mean, that makes me happy. And I was talking to you earlier about just in general the story, like the Haunted Mansion, seeing it like knowing it's been such a like integral part of Disney, but for me, always seeing it having Black characters, I think it's a pretty interesting story. Like to see it. The last two movies, at least, be about Black families.
And I knew that you were going to do this. I knew you were going to reference the first Haunted Mansion, which I have never seen. But Cameron is letting me know that the first Haunted Mansion is a Black family as well. So Disney did not discriminate. They wanted Black people to get be scared, okay? And I can appreciate the fact that they use Black families. And I appreciate the storyline because it really is interchangeable. You can switch out the culture of the family members and the people in the house together. And it really wouldn't make a difference. It's the same storyline. So I do appreciate how they did choose Black actors over, choosing what we usually see. And I'm happy about that.
And then also it's not like make them caricatures. Now, you can probably say people like closest might be like Tiffany Haddish's character as, medium. But then they had Jamie Lee Curtis as Madame Leona. So I feel like they were intentionally like not making it about race, but not making it about race. Like, saying like you can have these characters and it be important, but not it be the main point of the movie necessarily.
I can appreciate the moments that I realized that Tiffany Haddish was Black in this film. I can appreciate the moments where she was like, because it's like, okay, I would do that same thing in that situation. They didn't over ghetto her, ghetto-fy her. They didn't, objectify her. They didn't do anything weird with her. They just kind of let her be herself, and I appreciate that. I mean, she is a little rough on the edges, and that was the character she played.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that, because I've seen Tiffany try to be other things, and that's just not her. She's just not. She doesn't kill those other roles where she has to be a little more serious or maybe even quirkier. She just doesn't kill those roles. She kills these roles where she could just be a regular Black girl, observing shit. Just like she was in that movie with her sister, Tika Sumpter, when Tiffany gets out of jail.
Yeah.
And then also in that one movie I love with Eric Andre, with Tiffany Haddish.
Oh yeah, the comedy
sister. Tiffany Haddish. She has roles that I love her in, and I like to see her in those types of roles.
And I love Tiffany Haddish too, but I feel like that's also like the comedian's curse. Because I feel like a lot of times it's hard for comedians to cross over to like more serious, or like you not see them as a comedian when they're acting.
Mm-hmm.
And some people can get past it, but I feel like most aren't.
I think a lot more get past it than you'd imagine, because a lot of these people are literally starting as comedians. A lot of the actors you watch on TV.
Well, I know, but I'm saying as far as, but like even then, like a lot of times, even when they have like dramatic roles, they're still the funny person in the dramatic role.
They are.
So it's all. So I'm always like, can you truly get out of comedy if you start in comedy?
I don't know. I think I should test it. Write some stand up and get out there.
I feel like you should definitely do some stand up because I mean you already have number one fan.
Yeah. So. Oh, thanks. But there's a lot of good ones though. Michelle Boutreau, the girl that plays in The Bear, Adi Edofumi. Yeah. I'm kidding her name. I'm sure I said it wrong. Yeah. But I mean, we're seeing more and more comedians that start out that way in the transition. Even the Buckeye
but she's still the funny person.
The Buckeye guy that was he's a comedian. Never mind. I'll circle back. Yes. But yeah, no, I think to me comedy is actually like how you start being an actor. It's when people recognize you as someone with layers.
I agree, but I'm just saying I don't. Again, maybe we'll test it out and I'll bring it up as we keep watching movies. I just feel like it's always like, you know, hard to break out when they are a comedian. Yeah. Like even with Lakeith Stanfield, I've seen him like he started out in Atlanta and he was something funny, but he wasn't like a comedian like Donald Glover is. Yeah. Which, even when he plays serious roles, he's still a comedian. He's supposed to be a geeky, funny person.
Yeah. But I think you also have to give people chances, right? Yeah. Because like you have to like be okay when they diversify. Yeah. Because a lot of times that we see the comedians, we typecast them. We watch certain films with them playing a certain role. Mm-hmm. We don't step outside of our comfort zone to watch them in something else. It's like when people say Kevin Hart doesn't have layers. And I'm like, well, you never watched his The True Story or whatever it's called on Netflix. If you've never watched that, then you have no idea how many layers he actually has. He's a serious character that whole show, and it's like really good.
Well, my favorite, I guess I'll give an example. My favorite would be like somebody like Jamie Foxx or Whoopi Goldberg, or people who are starting in comedy. So
Jamie Foxx, right?
Yeah. Because I think about Ray, obviously.
That is the best. He did a great job in Ray.
Well, but my favorite would be Whoopi Goldberg because I've seen her like things like Serafina and her standing up for a different
Ghost.
Yeah, but she was still funny in Ghost. But I'm saying being serious and like The Color Purple, nothing serious about that movie.
Oh, that was tough.
Which is coming out soon, so I can't wait. But I don't mean go on a tangent about comedians, but it's just always evident because a lot of times comedians are the ones that go into Disney movies too. So and Disney has a lot of comedy, hence the Haunted Mansion. Yeah. So I think it's a really interesting fact. And we should talk about Black comedians, I feel like.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, we should talk about Black comedians. We'll save that for something else. For another episode. Because, there's a lot of space we got with that one. But like a Dave Chappelle episode, like, or even like, Real Husbands of Hollywood.
Which is my show. But
comedians, they're out here doing things. They really are. But when it comes down to this movie, simply put, it's rated PG. It's got an all-star black cast, but there's a few white people, so it's not an all-black film. White people don't get their pants in a bunch. Exactly. There is nothing that's nigga specific, and I want to say that again. There is nothing specific to Black folk in this movie. Mm-hmm. No random racist stereotypes that just have to happen. Mm-hmm. Nothing like that. I mean, even the fact that Tiffany Haddish is a medium would be something that stereotypically wouldn't be like Black women. That wouldn't be like our space, like in those movies. They always have some kooky white woman. Yeah. So they have Tiffany.
They did like the voodoo, but like, which is separate, but again, like it playing into her character, it wasn't just race specific because they had, like I said, the head medium, her head woman was Jamie Lee Curtis, right, Madame Leona. So I feel like it's exactly what you're saying. Like it's not just like, oh, this has to be a Black character. Yeah. Which I mean, I don't know if that's a negative thing because again, when we come into this space, we want to see Black faces, and I love seeing Black faces. And I do love seeing all Black stories. But like we live in a realistic society where obviously we want to be seen as normal people. So it's like it's that weird balance. Like, do I just want to see just all Black people, or do I want to see like a realistic scenario, especially being somewhere like California?
I still want to see the world as it is. Mm-hmm. Now I understand Black people's desire ultimately to have films be all Black for a while, since we were excluded from so much for so long. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if you really think about how long they had kept us out of films, we have every right to be like, we don't want to see a white person in any of these movies. Yet we still include them in everything because Black people and minorities overall don't have that same privilege of not seeing white people in our world. Like we're not just erasing you because you are, you know, in our real world. Sometimes you guys are the ones that are holding the keys and holding the power and have the higher jobs and can give you the promotion. And I get tired of seeing, you know, white people always being the head of things.
Yeah.
Which is why it was great to see these main characters be black in this film, or mostly black. You know, Rosario, you know. But I enjoyed seeing that aspect of it. But there is a very real reality where minorities can't just cut out other races. It's not true to our perspective. Like if you're in New York and you're making a movie about New York, you're gonna have a black person going into a bodega where they're gonna see either like an Armenian man or an Indian man or a, you know, a Mexican or Puerto Rican or whatever. We're about to engage every race because it is our reality.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of times white people can make movies and completely just bypass the fact that these other communities exist. And when I watch films, it's not that I'm watching them saying, check a black person, check a Mexican, check a transgender, check. I'm not doing that. But all I'm saying is that in my world, there are people that I come across on a regular basis where I would be crazy to write a film or a movie without including that character.
Come on.
Yeah.
Seriously, like it's real life. And that's the thing. Sometimes I feel like, especially like a lot of these Disney movies do, they sometimes when you're like trying to aim a certain demographic, you tend to forget that in real life that's not possible, or that's like just not what it is. But I feel like
what city are you living in?
Exactly where this is happening, because usually, well, it was back city, it got burned down, so it's not happening anymore.
Unless it's a movie like Drumline and we're at an HBCU, and you're not singing all black anything. Yeah. And even in Drumline, I feel like there were still some other. Oh right, Zoe Saldana. Yeah. Right, she wasn't even claiming black at the time. She was only claiming Latina at the time.
And I want to make a whole episode on that one. But but we're not gonna go there.
Only
today.
If you're talking about her playing Nina Simone. Only if that's what we're talking about.
Even Rosario Dawson, like, you know, we love our Latin American and South American.
It's not their fault that the white people in charge choose Latino women to play black women roles. Yeah. Like, it's not their fault that when white people are creating the black family, they prefer to see a Zoe Saldana over seeing a Tika Sumpter. It's not that actress's fault. It's the industry and their standards' fault because they believe that the wife needs to be fair skinned, the wife has to look like XYZ. Absolutely. So it's not, I don't blame these Latina women. I don't blame them for taking black roles. They're still actresses at the end of the day trying to get on. But, you know, it is a very messed up industry when we have to have Latino women representing black women. And then that creates basically complexes, and oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't
want to go there, but since we opened the door, we're gonna go ahead and walk right on in.
I'm so sorry.
I definitely believe we will always blame. I always blame the industry. I will always blame the industry first, but then everybody has to take their part in how they play into white supremacy. So, you know, take ownership and accountability. That's all.
Whoever he's talking to.
That's all I'm saying.
But y'all need to take that ownership and accountability.
But that's not to take away from their talent. That's not to take away. Again, I want everybody to get their check. Right. That's not to take away from who they are as people. I'm just saying, you know, we all have had a part to play in white supremacy, and you know, you need to own up to it. And
we've all had a part to play in white supremacy.
Not. I almost said. Let me rephrase. A lot of people sometimes have had parts in playing into white supremacy. A lot of people sometimes. Sometimes they play into it. We all have. Like whether you grew up. You did a little colorism, making fun of your darker cousins, stuff like that. That's playing into white supremacy. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying you're over here oppressing black people, but I'm saying that's playing into a part of white supremacy. So, but again, I do appreciate that a lot of us are trying to realize this and, you know, right our wrongs. And I definitely would love to go into that in like another episode, because we can, when we watch a movie where a person that's not, or doesn't claim to be black, or didn't claim to be black in the past, played a black character.
Yeah. I'd love to dive into that topic. I would love to dive into that topic because you know how much I love to discuss race in America. It's almost my favorite thing to do. But okay, yeah. That's all I got. Let me think. Is there anything else that was remarkable about this film that you can think of?
I thought it was shot very well. I thought obviously it has Disney, so
I hated how it was shot.
You know, a pretty penny. You thought it was dark, which I did think it was dark on this TV, but when I saw it in the movie theater, I felt like it was different. So I don't know.
So because I'm poor and watch movies at home, I just heard the same experience.
I did not say that. I was saying it could have been the setting on your TV. It could be anything.
The setting was mine, so it's my fault. No, honestly, I thought it was very hard to watch.
Mhm.
I actually didn't like the way it was shot as far as that stuff is concerned.
Mhm.
I did enjoy all the 3D stuff they were making happen. But my question, which I wish we would have answered before filming, but my question is, do you think that this was filmed at the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland? Since they literally mimicked everything in the ride to a T.
It was. That's why I really loved it. I feel like it's so reminiscent of being on the Haunted Mansion ride.
Literally, it's almost like what I imagined. They were like, we're gonna make Haunted Mansion. We're gonna take the roller coaster off for a second, put some panels down on the floor so it looks like a regular house, and we're just gonna film in here. That's how closely it looked like the Haunted Mansion. And I have been on that ride probably over 20 times in my life, and I have never seen the movie. But today, seeing the movie made me feel so connected to the ride.
Exactly. And I feel like they did a good job of doing that.
Did not miss a beat.
But I told you my theory is I think it was closed down because they did some filming there. Because when I went last August, it was closed down completely. So I mean, it could have been anything. But usually, it takes a year or two for people when they film and then they release it a year later. And so it was closed down last year. So
very likely.
So.
Oh.
Not the lights going.
Not the light. Let me fix that.
It's still pretty bright though on the screen.
It is. Okay. Was there anything else that was remarkable to you about this movie?
Yes, I love the ghost. Again, I talked about how when I was 7, I went to Disney World, and they say this ghost's gonna follow you home.
You've been to Disney World?
Yes, twice.
In Florida?
Yes. You should go. We have to go one day. We have to go.
You should go.
We have to go.
Where was that energy when you were going? That's fine.
It's a completely different. Well, first time I was literally 7 and went for the Junior Olympics.
Yeah, but the second time you weren't.
The boy used to be an Olympian. No, not really. But I used to be in track and very active.
The boy is you?
Yes, I used to.
You're the Olympian?
Yeah.
Noted.
First of all, I always tell people don't let this wait for you because I got the jitters.
Sorry. Okay, well let's go outside. We're gonna find out today.
But the second time, I guess it was a vacation. But you were living in Georgia at this time, so
let's not worry about where I was living.
At the time,
let's not worry about where I was living. Okay, just know that I didn't get the invite.
I didn't say what state. I didn't say what city. I just said the state. Anyway, but yes, that's irrelevant. The ghosts were very spot on. Again, they could have just taken animatronics and put them in the movie. But I thought looking at them, I was like, that's how I would imagine in this world the ghosts would look. If that makes sense. Like they looked believable ghosts. It wasn't like the weird stuff you be seeing on some of these movies.
Yeah. Okay. I don't feel like I felt like this film was, and I'm not going to call it unremarkable in a bad way. It was good. It was great for kids. It was very PG approved. But as an adult, it did not independently hold my attention. No. There's a few good jokes. There's a few good moments. I like the way things were shot. It was very cheesy. But it was good for what it needed to do. I couldn't possibly give it any more points. I literally, when you're taking a survey for work and you're like strongly disagree or strongly agree, and then agrees in the middle, but there's 5 bullets. I'm literally agree.
Okay.
I'm agree. It was good. Was not bad.
And we'll take it.
That's all I got.
But for you Disney fans, because that's who it's really for. Let us know how you feel about the movie. I really feel like it's a solid Disney movie. I'm not gonna say it's the best ever Disney movie, and I can't wait to. I agree with that, but I definitely do think it's a solid movie, and I think it will be nice to see when I'm 55 or 65 and watch it again.
Yeah, and to be clear, we're still gonna like this on Disney. This film is streaming on Disney right now, and it's still gonna get liked by me because I'm happy to see Black people of whatever variation being represented on television. So as far as I'm concerned, The Haunted Mansion gets a solid 7.5 for me. Cameron, what score do you give it?
I'll give it a 7.5 too, just so we can agree.
We don't need to agree.
No, I'm saying I feel like it's a 7. I would probably say maybe an 8.
I honestly don't think that this story would be made into history books, and I think that's why I never understood the story before seeing the rides. This was not a remarkable story. This was no Hocus Pocus. This was no Halloween Town.
It's not a Hocus Pocus or Halloween Town, but again, I feel like it's hard to do that with the remake. anytime you do a remake. So.
Well, they never did it with the original, so I'm just gonna stand my ground on that. It's not that much of a remarkable story, but I'm glad to see it. Maybe add some more context. Maybe give more character background. Maybe give us ghost stuff. I don't know. It was not checking the boxes for me, but it was solid. So again, this is your Halloween movie review. We can't watch them all before Halloween, guys, but that one we watched. That one is kid approved, and we're gonna pass that along to you. Family fun approved. No weird sex scenes to watch with your parents.
Which is always a plus.
Which is always a plus, because God knows those sex scenes with your parents are
awkward.
Are so awkward. Yeah, I'm an adult, but do I have sex? I don't know, Mom and Dad.
I've never experienced this in my life.
I've never even seen a boy.
What is this? What is going on right now?
Yeah, none of that. So parents, you're good to go. I do wish you all a happy Halloween. Cameron, anything else?
I love spooky season, so happy Halloween.
Yeah, and happy pumpkin spice season for my girls out there, for the pumpkin spice babes. But thank you again for watching the Black Cinema Experience podcast. Again, I'm your girl JB.
And I'm Cameron.
Thanks for watching.